Hey, it's Romy. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel, Pisces. This is your April 2020 reading. So if you're a Pisces, Sun, Rising or Moon, it is a general reading, but it might resonate for you. And if you're enjoying my work and you'd like to go ahead and support the channel, you can find a link for the extended reading in the description box below, or hop over to my website, which is romywyser.com, and check me out on Instagram and Facebook. Okay, Pisces, let's see what April has in store. I'm going to go ahead and put some cards down for you now. Thanks. Okay, Pisces, so April and Aries season. Now, as a mutable water sign, you're very well positioned in terms of the way that you move through the world, to be able to adapt, to change direction, to cope, to transform with any change in circumstance. And I think as we all find ourselves in these completely different conditions, you are really tapping into that water energy. It's going to serve you incredibly well through this month of April, okay? Three of Wands to open your reading. I see you being able to take a perspective and have a higher vantage point perhaps than many, because you're sensing and feeling your way into what comes next. And I honestly do feel for some of you, as we're in Aries season and we're working with second house energy, so there's an evaluation happening around your sense of worth, what you have to bring to the table, how you want to show up, the way that you look at material possessions, you know, both from a kind of very personal perspective, but also, you know, surveying and what that means for the collective and humanity in this really defining time of collective change. So the Three of Wands is giving you that outlook. It's bringing in the fire, but it's also showing you that it's important to keep focused on what comes next. I think many of you are going to be able to step up in ways that perhaps might surprise you. You're going to be given the opportunity to have a platform to really share your creative vision for the future. And I think because of the ability to adapt, it means that, you know, even if you find yourself, you know, like that fish out of water in a completely different environment, around completely different people, talking about perhaps, you know, completely different subjects to what you're used to, I still see you being able to cope with that. You know, magician energy. This is a time where you in many ways can start to harness the magic. You can tap into the potential. You're being afforded perhaps the time and the space and, you know, maybe the energy to really get something moving. The magician is about making adjustments. You know, he comes at it from the equal kind of very scientific experimental perspective, you know, head deep in the books, wanting to understand the nuances, wanting to learn, wanting to see what worked before and what details need to be taken into account. But he's also completely open to that spiritual divine connection, as above so below. It's like, I have everything that I need, but I need to shift and change and move the pieces around to make gold from this. You know, the alchemist, the magician energy has the manifesting prowess to be able to completely alter what that big vision looks like. And I think that's what you're being invited to do through this month of April, Pisces, you know. And if you can tap and lock into that ability to use your imagination, use your powers of visualization to continue to allow the positivity to flow, then you're going to step up with some really powerful energy that not only is going to help you, but also the people around you right now as well. There is a need to be front and center for some of you, okay? For me, the Three of Wands is, you know, taking that place, that natural place that he or she should be, to inspire. And the magician talking about the need to be expressive, to sell yourself, to sort of show other people, you know, what your skills and your particular gifts are and how they can help at this exact moment. And I think for some of you, if you may find, you know, from a work or career perspective, like changes that are meaning that you can't focus on what you would normally do, you're still being invited to tap into how you can redirect that resource and energy toward other things that will be helpful, not only to you, but people around you right now. Another really strong manifesting creative energy coming in with the Queen of Wands here. Real fire in you at the moment, Pisces. I like to see how you're stepping up in so many ways through this month. And, you know, maybe there is a fire sign that you're dealing with, a Sagittarius, Leo or Aries. If that is the case, then there's a lot of dialogue here. It's very rich in possibility. I see a lot of activity, a lot of communication, a lot of connection, a lot of flow happening between you. So if this is you cooking something up, it's a new idea, a new initiative, you know, a business project or something you want to get off the ground. I think you're just exploring all the different ways that you can do that. And, you know, I feel like there's this hub, there's this hive of kind of possibility that is around, and I want you to keep really focused on that so that you don't get pulled in the wrong kind of direction. But I see you stepping forward in a very empowered way this month, very focused, and I think that's going to help you also to keep a handle on your own emotions. Now we've got the 3rd of April bringing Venus into the sign of Gemini, which is 4th house for you. Now she's going to be in this placement for some time. So 4th house is about home and family. So, you know, you're going to be spending a lot of time in that particular environment, but it is, for me, going to afford you that sacred space, that time to come up with some amazing ideas. Remember, Venus in Gemini is curious, she's visionary, she wants to keep things playful and light and flirtatious and spontaneous. And I think if you can tap into that kind of vibe, you know, whether you are working with your children, whether you are doing things for yourself, trying to inspire other people and connecting online, you know, there's an awful lot of really positive energy that I see coming through from this. 4 of Wands actually is giving you a bit of stability and harmony with which to feel safe and secure in order to step up, if you like. You know, I love the 4 of Wands being underneath the 3 because I just think it's like a firm foundation with which to start something new or to initiate something, to, you know, set out your store for the future, so to speak. Now, of course, in Aries season with 2nd house, you know, you will be keeping a strong eye in terms of, you know, that kind of income, the fiscal, material resources in and around you. But I see you being incredibly resourceful, Pisces. So, you know, if income is stopped in one way, I see you branching out and thinking on your feet to come up with another way to help support you and your family, or in terms of what it is that you're trying to do. But I have a strong sense of you just feeling very supported in that, supported in your endeavors, you know, and being given the opportunity to really take the time to explore what else, you know. Now on the 4th we've got a Jupiter-Pluto conjunction happening, 1st of 3 in 2020, and again in your 11th house, you know, Jupiter, that planet of expansion, wanting to show the potential by looking at what hasn't worked, by going deep beneath the surface into that Lord of the Underworld, Pluto's realm, delivering, you know, information to the masses so that we can then harness and understand what needs to change. And in the 11th house, we're working with very Aquarian energy, aren't we? So it's about how you can bring what you have to bear to deliver increased nurturing, love, abundance, generosity of spirit, empowerment. And this is what I see coming through really strongly for you this month. There's some beautiful energies this April, Pisces, if you choose to tune into the channel that they are coming towards you on. Now on the 7th we've got a full moon in the sign of Libra. Okay, so under that full moon, very divine feminine lunar illumination in an air sign, it is 8th house for you, so it is helping you to dive a bit deeper. And we also have Saturn in Aquarius in your 12th. So the 8th and 12th house, you know, are more intense placements, but very transformational when we allow them to reveal to us what the teaching is, what the lessons to be learned are. And with Empress right at the center of your reading, you know, you're being powerfully guided here, supported, nurtured, encouraged to step up and to tap into your own potential here in a really strong way. I think that if you are at home in the family environment right now, you are creating a very safe, creative space, but there's also a real hub of opportunity coming here. Just feel like they keep saying to me, opportunities knocking. So you need to be open-minded to how this unusual set of circumstances can deliver you that real moment of inspiration that's going to set you off in a completely different direction. Now, of course, you know, Strength card right now, needing to dig deep and find that sort of anchor point that's going to help you and others. I think that many Pisceans will find themselves, you know, in that real front line, kind of compassionate, nurturing, caring, but also having to have real strong focus and strength to have the endurance. And I see that coming in powerfully for you. Now, Strength is linked into the sign of Leo, and with that Queen of Wands, there may well be a Leo sign that you're having some interaction with through this month of April. Again, if that's the case, I feel like I want to say be resourceful, be innovative, look at different ways to communicate, to connect, to look at all perspectives, all possibilities. It's the more open-minded you can be, the more generous you can be in the way that you approach situations with what you have to say, what you have to offer from a high vibrational perspective, the better it's going to be for you, and the more rich this experience will end up providing. Love the Empress energy for you, just in terms of you feeling more secure about those levels of abundance as well. So if you do have some real cause and concern around this, I think that we are set to see some beautiful new pathways opening up that are going to show you perhaps where you were meant to be all along, Pisces. So if you've been fighting a particular kind of direction for fear of, you know, the implication that it would have around your security, and then all of a sudden you're finding yourself in a place where, you know, a certain income has completely stopped, then, you know, not that you have no choice, but literally you're being given that kind of reset moment to say, well, I've got nothing to lose right now. And it's in that kind of nothing to lose attitude that you can really connect in, take that quiet moment to listen to what your higher self is saying, what the guidance and the wisdom is that's coming through. You know, fours coming through in your reading are about that sense of harmony and balance coming in to support you. Of course, I think many of you will be giving out that very healing, nurturing, emotional energy. Just be careful you don't burn out around that, and that you are taking the time to fill your own cup up to make sure that the self-care is not being completely redirected towards everybody else. And, you know, it may also be that you get so busy in trying to initiate or start something new that you're also just not really tuning or listening into your body and what it's needing from you right now. So just be aware, be mindful, and take the time to have that respite. But in all honesty, I think for many as well, this retreat time, this kind of opportunity to just stop that daily, you know, probably very hectic routine that sort of made up your life, is bringing about this sacred rest that perhaps you've needed for a very, very long time. And, you know, once you feel a little bit more grounded and a bit more refreshed as a result of that, what is coming through is rich creative vision and ideas. Now, I know that's not going to be the case for everybody, and particularly those that are really on the front line in terms of helping support, you know, and needing the healing and the energy to cope with situations that are unfolding right now. Again, just needing some time for yourself is going to be so important through this month, so you don't completely burn out. Okay, card of the Lovers coming through here. Could be a Gemini energy that you're dealing with. And even as we say Gemini, just talking again about that placement of Venus moving into the sign on the 3rd, because she's going to be retrograde in Gemini as well later on in May and June, and so she's going to be in that sign for a few weeks to come, and so there's a lot to take from what that is activating for you in that 4th house. How your ideas, the way that you're expressing, the way that you are loving, receiving love, giving love, the material possessions and resources around you, all those Venus ruled aspects of your life, and the change, the innovation that's coming in, the new inspiration, the ideas. I think as well we have this beautiful mercurial energy with the Lovers that is inviting you to look at where you want to unite. Who do you want to bond with? Who do you want to come together with in terms of connections, both personally and professionally? Okay, I think there's some really interesting collaborations that are going to emerge for you, Pisces, this month. If you have a focus around your work or business ideas, from a relationship perspective, maybe there's some respite or some stepping back from people, whether that's within your control or because of external circumstances that are being put in place. But I do see that that has the opportunity to give you time to reflect, and also to strengthen the bonds in many ways. But certainly with the Strength card coming up, it may be a particularly challenging time as you perhaps feel slightly separated from the people or the person that you particularly want to right now. But you have a lot of really strong energy supporting to come in and give you balance and perhaps help you use this time, for yourself right now, so that, when you do get to reconnect properly, you're coming at this in a whole new energy, at a whole new level, having learned so much about yourself and about the dynamic of that relationship. So, whether you're in and around that person or at a distance, I think it's a huge time of growth and learning for you. Okay, Hanged Man energy coming through, very Neptunian ruled, and understandably so, we find ourselves in an environment right now where we have to surrender. So much is out with our control, and yet you are also being invited from Spirit to look at that from a different perspective and say, I might have to surrendering to being in this particular space right now, but within this space I still have full control over what I choose to think, how I choose to use my energy, and how I'm going to apply myself. And so I think that if we look at the environment as being the Hanged Man, what comes out of it is all this rich potential and possibility and creativity and flow of ideas that is set to take you off in a direction that could feel really exciting. So I don't want you to look at that as feeling like restrictive. I actually think it's just like the container, this vessel, and you almost having to give in to receiving that divine wisdom. And in order to do that, you have to find a certain level of stillness. Four of Swords, Hanged Man are inviting you to go within. They're inviting you to connect in through meditation, through breath work, through those physical movements, whether it be yoga, or the ways that you connect into your guides, to source, to receive the illumination that is going to help activate all of the richness of what's coming out here. There's some really beautiful energies coming in for April, Pisces. I just need you to keep focused and stay tuned into the channel of possibility and creativity. Like I said at the beginning of your reading, it's about your mutable water energy. That's what's going to help support you through this time. And as we come into Taurus season, into your 3rd house, looking at communication, focusing on the short-term planning of things, I feel like you're going to be open and ready to connect in new ways and exciting ways, and really sort of put forward what you've been working on, what you've been thinking about. So your oracle card coming through for April, Pisces, is returning home, 4-4. And it's interesting because on the 4th, with that Jupiter-Pluto conjunction, there is this beautiful gateway opening up. So the vibrational energy of the angelic number 444, that realm, really helping to awaken something within you. Talks about transition, life between lifetimes, loving, welcome. This is a gateway, you know, we are moving into incredible new energy times, and of course there is transition for many people around us, and you may well be touched very personally on that level through this time, Pisces. But your ability to understand the bigger cycles of life and to, you know, connect in, particularly as we're dealing with Saturn and Aquarius over the next couple of years in your 12th house, that, you know, invites us to release, to surrender, to allow completion and transition to take place, you know, working with our deeper subconscious and that very spiritual side of ourselves, you know. So there is this ability for you to tune in and understand a much higher vibration, and almost from a different dimension, so much of what's occurring around you at the moment, and really being given the illumination and the wisdom to know that this is part of a bigger story, that this unfolding is divinely orchestrated, and that there is so much that is yet to be revealed and yet to come to the surface that will support and help humanity at this time. So beautiful gateway with all of these flowers being entwined around it, just giving a softness and the illumination, you know, a lot of angelic energies here, not only supporting you in terms of some of the ideas and inspiration that are coming in, but also for me, I just think about the protection that we're all receiving on earth collectively right now, and that you can be a vessel for that healing. You can be a healer even if you do not practice that from a spiritual perspective. Each of us get the opportunity to be loving, to be kind, to be compassionate in these times, and in doing so we're activating deeper healing, you know, towards each other and to the earth at the moment. So let's take a look at the astrological cards here. Sun in Aquarius, readiness for change, opportunity. You look at this beautiful rainbow coming in as well, delivering that blessing, but also a sign of hope and renewal, activating all of those 7 chakra energy centers. Aquarius is wanting to be innovative and revolutionary, ready for change, wanting to look toward the future and harness the opportunities. Look at the stillness and the calmness of this water as well. So I really feel, Pisces, that you, you know, in comparison to many of the signs that I've read for April, have this deeper sense of calm going on that's available to you. Now, I know that might not be the experience for all of you right now, but I feel that it's absolutely something that you can turn your attention towards and step into. And if you do, this beautiful radiant energy is fully supportive of you harnessing that time for change and seeing how you can make it work for you in your life, and to support the people that you love and that are surrounded in your circle. Okay, I hope that has given you some insight into this month of April, Pisces. It's been so nice to tap into some of these energies, just rich, beautiful, nurturing, and expansive. I'm going to go ahead and pull us a couple of cards for a specific question that you have that may not have been covered in this general reading. We're then going to look to explore it in the extended. So if you take a focus on what your question is right now, I'm going to pull a couple of cards here. If you want to join me for the extended, Pisces, the link for this is in the description box below. And you can also find it over on my website, romywyser.com. I'm going to go ahead now and just pull us some clarifying cards. We will speak for another 20 minutes or so in the extended reading. Okay, so 3 of Wands bringing in the 5 of Pentacles. You have the key to unlock any restriction in terms of lack right now. That's what I feel. Chariot energy, beautiful. Could be a Cancerian that you're dealing with as well here. A Hermit with the Alchemist. You see, this is what I feel in times of, like, you know, having to be restricted, perhaps isolated, or, you know, stepping back, being at home. You are using this to come up with so many amazing ideas and changes. Three of Pentacles, collaboration, community, starting new things. Okay, Queen of Wands bringing in the King of Cups. Pisces, this could be you or another water sign. But again, just look how zen he is right now. Completely at peace. Finding the ability to dive deep beneath the surface waves. Four of Wands bringing out the Two of Wands. Queen of Swords, could be another air sign here, Gemini, Libra or Aquarius. Six of Wands, yeah. King of Wands and the Strength. There's a resourcefulness to you this month, Pisces. Queen of Cups. Wow, you've got a lot of people coming into this clarifying, so we'll go into a bit more detail about what their involvement is in proceedings. Nine of Pentacles. Knight of Swords. One more with that one. King of Swords. Wow. Okay, card of Death and Rebirth. And finally, Two of Pentacles. Okay, Pisces, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you tuning into the channel. If you're joining me for the extended, I look forward to continuing this conversation. Otherwise, I send you lots of soul soothing, bright blessings. Please stay safe this month, and I'll connect again with you soon. Take care. Bye for now.